All right, everybody, here we are. It's the Graduate Show, and I think the change that I made last week, we're probably going to make that permanent change, was simply that we've had so many graduations that for my own sanity, it made sense to split it up into two shows. Whether the 1,000 cutoff is the right one, I don't know yet, but it certainly is like the symbolic barrier. So that's why I chose that. Maybe it might eventually shift it to 1,100, but that's far less round than 1,000. Oh, Sam, beloved bookkeeper's here today. Sam, by the way, I discovered there is a chess club in your neck of the woods, Columbia, on Saturdays, and I might go there. I got this kid, Firesnap. Where is he? Right there. Boom. And he's playing his first tournament on Sunday over here just up from my place. So maybe we might go. I might take the kids too. All right, here we go. So let's start. Let's call him or them Adria MRT. And can someone tell me, what does that mean? There's a little dude saying stuff, and what are they saying? I don't know. New to chess and passionate about it. That's like a millennial code right there. I feel like the millennials would be able to decode that, and it probably means something awesome, dude. I don't know what it means, but... Am I following the American Cup? No, Kostya's doing that for us. He's doing that for us. Okay. So now what we actually see is Adria here is actually past it. Already past it. They'll graduate again next time. Look at this. Normalized 1508 on Lead Chess. Lead Chess, until you play for a while, it might be shuffling around. You know, they might have won one game or something. In any case, Adria is doing great. Let's take a look. Boom. Actually, let's look at training plan first. So that's 300, 400. Let's see how they did it. Yeah, you know, they just did a touch of everything. But we might get a game. Then there it is. They did some 27 hours bouts. That's not nothing. And they're watching YouTube is what they were doing. Let's see some clubs. No clubs. Games. Oh, we got several games. So that is great. That is great. So let's click one. Uh-oh, that's not it. Hold on. Uh-oh. Yeah, so somebody just uploaded their business. I can't believe I missed to take the rook. Now, honestly, if your journey in annotating your games starts like this, that's fine, you know, because it could be, let's look at this position. I can't believe I missed to take the rook. And he's talking about bishop a6. Okay, so if that's the beginning, great. Notice too, this person, King's Gambit boss, they're just moving instantly, dude. The whole time. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so Adria, you're doing great. And we will see more annotations from you next time. And I think next week you're ready to graduate. So that's already really cool. And I blew it. I'm supposed to right-click on people. It makes the job a little bit easier. Penrose is here in the chat. Let's read what Penrose says. I managed to graduate before my 50th birthday next month. Score 1 for the old guys. Community is the best aspect of the program. I've had a ton of help from too many folks to name individually. The weekly under 1000s have been especially helpful. Thanks to Coolmaster X for organizing each week. Lots of help from M. Norris and Sleepy. Louris pointed me in the right direction months ago when chess was still very new to me. And last but not least, Knows for all his guidance and chess knowledge. Fantastic. Yeah, this is great. And It helps me, honestly, when you give a shout out like that, because it's honestly the same kind of group of people that are helping. I did an appreciation stream, and I think you might have graduated last week and said the same people. I'm not sure it was, but yeah, it was the same people. Cool Master, Lura, Sleepy, M. Norris. So anyways, I did this appreciation stream for those people over the weekend, and really cool that they are doing that. Huge part of the community. Okay, it was Aquafresh that said it. So it's the same. So notice, Aquafresh said basically the same list of people, because it was the same. It was Cool Master, M. Norris, Sleepy. I think Laurent was also mentioned in that one. And Nose was also mentioned. So that's great. So here we go, Penrose. That looks pretty good. Yeah. That's a great graph. Especially cool that they made some progress there towards the end. All right, let's look then at the training plan. You know, when I click at the training plan, it's more helpful if someone hasn't made it yet, because now they're already at 500, 600. But they did. Look at that. Penrose really did almost everything for the 4 to 500. So that's, in fact, I don't know how it's possible, but they did more. They did more. I don't know how it's possible, but they did more than the 750. Oh, I got it. No, that just means their rating was beyond it. Excuse me. This was their percentage complete. Okay, that looks great. So activity, we will again go back one. And that's how they did it. 101 hours, bows. Nice. Now, my hope for Penrose would really be that putting in all this work here, that they could expect a real acceleration. Not forever, but like we can imagine some cohorts falling in the near future, because you're doing your tactics, right? You're putting your games and analysis. This is great. Endgame, great. Okay? So yeah, we can expect more. And maybe, let's see, clubs, nice. I'll see if I can say something helpful over here. Now, this was a longer game, so let's take a look at this one. Fine. Queen e6, okay. So this is a typical mistake, Queen e6, because the queen is helping you develop and the bishop is blocked. Queen g6, kind of weird. I appreciate this. More wasting of time. Okay, complete waste of time. Right. Now, we talk about this in every show, but what you can appreciate here, Penrose, and you've probably seen this on other streams, is that people are just giving away time. He hasn't given away any free pieces yet, but definitely given away loads of free time here. And this is when we should start looking to see if there's some kind of tactical opportunities to lay waste to this person, right? And D3, I'm going to say, is a little slow, and that would be my question. Like, does it end black directly? And it looks pretty grim. Maybe their best move might even be the very nasty king d8. If queen d6 will play d4 followed by bishop f4, it's pretty mean, man. And on queen a5, we boot him around with b4, and there's no saving this. Now, I think it's gonna eventually end in the same thing, because your opponent doesn't figure it out. Now, personally, I would like to see d4 just to grab more space, and we'll actually see that it's critical for the tactic you're intending. So let's look. Bishop f5. The safety move that a lot of Scandi players do, and this would be an appropriate time to do it, would be this ugly c6 move, just to stop your knight from coming in there. So this is great. Remember, when they don't develop, it's time to really start thinking tactics, right? This is a mistake. Patzer sees a check, Patzer gives a check, and should have moved here. And this is where we wanted the pawn on d4, because then, right now, if we played bishop f4, they could block with e5, right? So, blunder. By the way, I think a great exercise here would be for you to assign question marks, in particular when somebody is hanging something outright, such as they are here. Boom, boom, boom. Good. You could have also put the pawn there. Uh-oh. And now knight e3. Thwarted my king fork knights pretty well. So let's look. B4. You could. I almost said before what, but I didn't. Still again, queen d6, unfortunately. So wait a second. Bishop d2 was a mistake, and b4 was the move. Right? And then there's no saving the coconut. And it's a dreadful coconut to lose because, you take on c7, you take the rook, everybody's falling down. Everybody's falling down. So, queen c5. Well, you're doing great here, buddy. He's toast here, actually. So I yelled at you a little bit, but the fact is, your development... Oh, wait, no. He's got one way out, and that is queen b6, touching the coconut. So let's just see if there was a way to hurt black here. Here's our move, boss. Bam! Oh, baby! So I take it back. Your bishop d2 was good. This is fine. You're killing him. Look at this. Everybody's coming into action. Ooh la la. They blunder. And now the most important question. Why? Why does this game take so long to finish this person off? Right? Okay. So knight d5 is too frisky, and I think you missed castles. So the simplistic move would just be to move the bishop away. I think you missed that. And now there's some questions to you. That might be, even here actually, I guess you're fine because you can take here. So you're winning by so much material, it doesn't matter. That's too much. Right, you should have taken on g6. Good. Okay, so finally we get a question mark. All right, so we lost a coconut. We're still winning. This, by the way, when I say this, I mean the ability to put somebody away after you win material is the key skill for advancing up to 1000. Take their stuff, push your pawns down to the board, make some queens, mate with a queen. That is our general scheme here. Good move. I like that. Let's trade it off. Good move. Bad move. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Oh, he's getting frisky. Good move. Okay. Okay. Good move. Good move. Now still, we got to ask, why did this take forever? There's a yard sale over here. Okay, finally resigns. Okay, good. Good, Penrose. So, Penrose saying in chat he likes his other annotations better. Let's just take a brief look. Okay, good. Optically, we're going to say definitely. That looks fine. Yep, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. I like, well, you're fine. Knight c6 also fine. Board. Good move. Great. Even, oh, right, you should play knight c6. Good. Nice. And you knew I wasn't going to like it. You knew I wasn't going to like it. Well, let's just say the obvious. It's all about these people not bringing their people out, right? Yeah. Okay. So, Penrose, this looks great, dude. This looks great. And, Kraai, you need to stop. I keep blowing it here. Yeah, this looks great. Okay. So, Penrose, I think, is putting in the work, and it's going to make it to 6-7 fairly quickly. And let's move to Beetle. Low chess knowledge, high chess enthusiasm. That'll get you a follow. Come on. Coming after us, the hiatus. So also Beetle here could also graduate again. Yeah. Okay. Beetle is in the chat. Nice. Okay. So let's go activity. We'll back it up one. That's some pretty good work. So let's click on the tactics. Good. Good. This is all pretty good work. So clubs, UK Dojo. All right. 45. Nice. That club is growing. All right, let's see if I can say something insightful here. Doesn't always happen. We'll see if I can do something here. There's Beetle. Okay. If you put a question mark, you should definitely tell us, like, why. Okay, Beetle, this is important. So what's happening here is these question marks are all from the engine, I guess. Usually the engine doesn't do double question mark. Maybe somehow you did. So it wants you to play knight g5. And it is a very important thing to know because there is zero way for them to defend this pawn. And on d5, you give them the whack because you control that square, right? And what we can say is it's like a supreme fried liver. So you don't have to know the names of these things, but I'll just show you. A typical thing every beginner faces is this question mark. And there's, White's making a controversial move because he's moving a developed piece twice. There's a variety of responses that Black can do. But if we just imagine this position, boom, you've got a lot more extra time. That this is here out, and this doesn't really help do anything against this poor pawn on f7. Beetle says, I copied the ChessCom PGM, but only after I'd clicked the analysis button. Couldn't work out how to get rid of every annotation without deleting them manually. Actually, let's just check if the other one's different. Okay, let's try this game, just because all the question marks mess with my Boomer GM mind. Okay, so we can say that this is blocking their bishop and blocking your bishop too. Okay. Poor. Now, one thing I want to stress is it's not only a calculation problem. That pawn is already moved. So we need to bring our people out. So the default moves should be 1, 2, and 3. 3 is a little weird, but you could do it. As long as you bring your people out, you're going to be okay. So pop. He lets you take. Knight d2, not the most aggressive move. So now he has not punished you. So notice too that just in terms, so as I said before, the key thing for you is to learn not to give up material. And on DE5, it turns out that maybe you get the pawn back. So also maybe knight E5, this way, they can defend, right? This would just be something to put in the notes. Not impressive. Good. Losing time. So notice, white is obsessed about that bishop, but that bishop, like if you took it, wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? So they're losing time. Good move. Knight G4. Queen D4. All right, let's say something obvious. When you play knight G4, you're not developing your coconuts, right? So knight G4 is, in a way, cleverly protecting against D5. Not entirely sure you saw it, but the way to do this in terms of time is to say, oh, let's just play bishop E6. I develop, I defend. Okay, we missed queen G7. Good move, that's your only saving grace. Now you're down a pawn, but okay, good move. Little funky, little funky. Bishop H3 doesn't threaten much. This move looks kind of cool looking. I don't know if it changes all that much. It's kind of cool looking. F3 castles. Now I do want to say I like the way you are developing your stuff. You're being active. King H1. And then we have a mouse slip with bishop G2. Right. So what we can say is, let's say you go back, you still have every hope in this position. You know, if you were playing a GM, the extra pawn would be a thing. But here you got every hope, you know, every hope. And his knight has got some questions to resolve over there on H4. Let's see if he gives you a chance. Good move. Got intimidated out of knight F4, but this move is a strange alternative. Okay, one thing I want you to see is you had an interesting shot here with rook takes G2, and if king takes knight F4, and we're kind of sort of still in the game. We're down a piece, so we shouldn't expect too much, right? And then rook G2, snip, snip, and at least, you know, we're giving him something to think about. We're giving him something to think about. Well, we're probably still toast, but we're giving him something to think about. Taking on F4 is just trading. Oh, that's a deadly check. In principle, I like this move for white in that he's trying to trade off stuff because he is up in material. But what it does allow is at least the question of, hey, what's going to happen when I push down to the 7th rank? You're still in trouble and everything, but here we're giving white some questions, you know, if we get down here. Yeah. So rook E7. And he plays knight F4. So key thing to just try to do in these analysis sessions is to think about, was anybody hanging anything? So for example, will white win a rook if they do this? Opening up on your rook. But in fact, it's a dirty trick because see, boom. And whether we take with a rook or not, our knight comes back and saves the day. These are the kinds of tactics we want to see in the post game. Rook G8, and then we got whacked. Okay. Well, dang, they're just pushing the pawn. It's so unfair. Yeah. this guy's evil. Dang. Well, so this, I guess, was on Lichess, and we are playing someone a little higher rated. And I guess this is probably Lichess provisional for you. That's right, you got whacked, dude. You got whacked. Okay, so, boom beam. Let's go back, and I'm gonna promise myself that I'm gonna right click on the next person. I'm not gonna just click. I'm gonna right click. Fire Snap. Fire Snap used to be the first person, but he's graduated so many times. He is all the way up here, 6 to 7. Get to this cohort, was so fun, and I hope you enjoyed it too. See you next time. Bows. Fire Snap is my 9-year-old bro, almost 10. Dude, he's just been crushing it with the chess lately. Beat his mom blindfolded. He's doing some stuff. People like Penrose are going to be jealous, Fire Snap. They're going to be like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This kid's flying up? What about me? What about me? I'm jealous too. I'm jealous too. And he doesn't understand. He's like, what? I'm just crushing it. Look at that rating graph, my friends. Yeah. Yep. It's really cool and important for me to know people in real life who are doing the program, because then I get a more personalized sense of what their journey is. Really cool to see that at least a kid could do it. I was about to say anybody could do it, but I have an 86-year-old friend, and she is really, really struggling with the interface. It's too hard for her. She's like yelling at me, I can't do it. This is complicated. And obviously for a 9-year-old, it's easier than for a 86-year-old. Firesnap did struggle a little bit on like how to bring in the PGN and stuff, but he figured that out. But it's hard, and you guys see it with me too. I'm an older dude, and there's technological things that I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. We're streaming now to YouTube, and it's under some different title, and I don't know how to shift it, and they're going to have to give me a whole tutorial on that. That's, typical. Okay, so let's take a look at what Firesnap has been doing. Let's just actually scroll down. So he reviewed with a plus. Maybe that was me. I don't know. Blunder Games. Nice. Blunder Games. Everyone's first chess workbook. He's doing that great. Thanks, Peter Giant Toes. Thanks, Peter Giant Toes. New game analysis. Maybe that's the one we'll look at. I'm sure that's the game we'll look at. And then this was his last graduation. Nice. Fire Snap on fire. Oh, actually, no. This was this one where he graduated. Yeah. He's getting it there. Look at this. People giving him props and stuff. This is beautiful. Okay. Here, let's say something. Let's go. So we'll send that bad boy off. Okay. That's really cool. Clubs? Oh, Firesnap, you can't be part of the European Chess Dojo Club, dude. Come on, man. Come on. What are you doing? You're not a European boss. What are you? Oh, he's messing with me now. Okay. So, games. And this is the game he most recently annotated. Let me say a little bit about Liam's quest. So he's got a lot of anxiety when he's playing, and his favorite way to play is if I'm sitting there, and sometimes he'll be like looking at me, to try to get me to get my eye contact to say like what I think he should be doing. And really I'm just sitting there and I'm like, Bows, bring your people out. I've just told him 2 things: bring your people out and think, and when he thinks, he is seeing the tactics better than his opponents. And so he is doing great, right? Okay, so let's take a look. d4. He gets this a lot, and here he plays the weird bishop d6. So, a couple things to say here. The first is that in general, Liam, this move d4 is not great because of snip. And if they take, which is probably at this level what you're going to see most, then you whack them. And you say, thank you for the tempo bows. They might do other things, but you can see taking makes a lot of sense. Even d6, I'm glad you analyzed it, because this position isn't nearly as so bad as it looks. Normally, too, you don't give too long of a variation, but that's cool that you did it. And then he looked at this one, and he's actually had some games with this d5, knight b8 stuff. Okay, but because I wasn't telling him. On d4, I wasn't like saying, bows, take the pawn. I just wanted him to develop. And even though this move looks awful and strange, at this point, I'm still not going to yell at him. What's the problem? You're blocking the pawn. Okay, so here we go. Knight f3, queen f6. Now, in the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, they say, don't bring your queen out early, and this is definitely no exception. So we would want to play knight c6. Here's our time graph. Notice, his opponent is not thinking. His opponent might be playing a 5-minute game. So this is where he is able to do better than, say, this 13-15 opponent, because they're just not thinking. g3. Doesn't make any sense because the bishop's already out, and the point of g3 would be to get the bishop out. Okay. Little poor. You took. Bishop h3. Castles. Knight h4. e4, knight f5. So, one thing about this game that's kind of cool is his opponent has a plan. So before, his opponents didn't have plans. Now this plan maybe is no good, but it's at least a plan. He wants to deliver mate. It's not really that good because our queen, our lady, is defending her man quite well. Okay, now normally I shout at people for moving their developed pieces twice, but this frees up this pawn, so that's okay. Peter Giant toes. Yeah. So, boom, boom, good. Castles, d5, very frisky move because you're allowing white to take. And then there's whole questions of like how valuable this pin is. It's interesting. So I think d5 is let's call it a sacrifice, Interesting sacrifice. Your opponent, though, gives away time and also now introduces this idea of d3. Now, if you weren't going to play d3 is very interesting here, but if you weren't going to do it, then knight c6 would be what we're interested in. Right? We can even imagine knight c6, snippos, and rippos, and we're going to win the exchange. We're going to win a piece, because of this brutal pin. e5. What are they trying to do? They've got a plan. They want to mate you. They want you to move your queen like here and then mate you. So notice we call this hope chess. And you're going to get a lot of hope chess at this level. Okay? Again, they're just trying to get your queen off. And you said, goodbye, Mr. Knight. Okay. Queen f5. You did a monster variation. This is the longest variation ever. A4 is a totally weird move here. And what we would want is for you to give like an evaluation. So for example, I would say, let's say knight d2, you've got to move the knight, and say something like, oh, I think I'm better or winning because I got all these extra pawns. Okay, queen f5, check to the miserable king. The most frisky, rook f2, knight c6. Now, this one is an interesting move. You are allowing queen f6. And you're saying on king g8, I'm just fine. Let's just say I'm worried. I'm concerned. But what does white do? Oh, they don't get it. They don't get it, boss. They think pawns are people. Now, let me introduce you to this idea of pawns are people. White, and you're going to get a lot of players like this, has not understood the value of development. What am I talking about? These two players, they're not playing. And instead, going after the pawns. That's very common. Oftentimes, they won't go after the mate like this guy did. So I feel like that's the next level. It wasn't a good move, but it wasn't somebody just thinking about pawns. They actually were trying to mate you, right? But they did so, both of these plans, at the cost of their other pieces. And one cool thing, Liam, that I think you're doing really well, is you've heeded the Boomer GM's advice, and you are bringing out your people. Bam! And now he's toast. Again, thinking about pawns. They were already toast, but that wasn't it. Boom. Checkmate. Welcome to the dojo bows. That's it. Yep. That's right. Okay. So Liam did it again, dude. And let's go back. Actually, let's just go back here. And it's looking pretty good. And so if we go training plan and now think about what's going on in 600 to 700, I just want to give a look. This is partly my own benefit here too. So now, I got him this book, by the way. He's got to do his first 34 mates in 2. I know he's already started on it, and I know they're hard. So that's a nice challenge. Already crushed all of these things. We are going to raise the bar on these for Dojo 3.0. And then now gets to do part 3. So what's cool about this progression that Liam's done is, honestly, I think, he's flying up. And if he does these and plays some longer games where he's thinking, he should get there. By the way, Liam's playing his first tournament this Sunday in Baltimore, and I'll kind of be around to see some of his games. So that's, I'm sure, nerve-wracking, but really cool that he's doing it. Okay, cool. So if you're just joining us, this is the Graduate Show, and we do 2 shows because we have so many people graduating at the dojo that we do 2 shows here. And these are a bunch of our graduates. And today we're just going to do the up to 1,000. All right, next up we have Osio, who has also graduated numerous times. And he says, I keep working on the task on the dojo and keep going up. I'm trying to slow down and think more every game. That seems to work, and also working on my tactics. Brilliant. Okay, let's go. 39 from Denmark. Brilliant. This is the envy of every older chess player who's stuck at a plateau. These 2 guys, they're just crushing. They're crushing over here. Oh, my word. That must be their custom. So actually, Liam will also get an OTB, and I assume that's his local rating there in Denmark from Copenhagen. So let's go activity. We'll see how they did it. 13 hours of work, and they keep going up, and they keep going up. Nice. Similar to Liam here. Clubs. European Dojo. Hey, Liam, you're not in the European Dojo, buddy. Come on. Then we got games. Pretty soon, he's going to go into the Adult Improver Dojo, too. Huh, buddy? What are you doing? All right, here's a lead chess opponent over here. Okay. So, great note. Great note. So helpful. So the idea of the Caro-Kann, which is what you're doing, you don't even have to know, maybe you don't even know the name, but is to get the bishop out. In contrast, say, to the French, where you are stuck in. Now here we would play c5 to get some play against the center. And notice that if you played c6 here, it wouldn't make much sense, and we would be transposing to what happened in the game. And so it's really cool that you noticed that and said, hey, I should bring it out first. Absolutely. Now, one thing about this is you're not toast. You, especially at this level, you just need to recognize that you're a little passive. Check to the miserable king. I like that you're bringing your people out. I like that you're bringing your people out. Okay. Knight f8. Now that's weird. That's weird. Yeah. So what would have been better? Probably a move like knight f5. Uh-oh, it's getting dangerous. Now, by the way, this is happening to us precisely because we didn't bring our people out. So knight f8 was a key culprit in all of this. Good. It scares me, but good. Bishop d3. Good move. In fact, I think what we should say is probably best here for us is queen e7, so that on bishop d3, trying to remove the defender of the rook, we can at least do that, and we're not completely toast. Whereas here, f5, he might not know, they might not know the ancient rule of en passant. And then you're toast. You are crispy critters, right? We got f7 as a threat, bishop g6 as a threat. Oh no, oh no. And here, they've lost their mind. Kind of like the way Liam's opponent was hunting that rook. This guy is single-minded going after your business. Notice also that this opponent isn't thinking. Look at that. You know. Queen h4, yum yum, thank you very much. Queen g4, okay. I like queen e7 a little bit better, but this is no problem. There we go, he forces us to do it. Queen f8. What do I like better? I like castles. Well, we'll trade some stuff off if they want. Good move. Good move. Oh, they traded off. Yeah. Yeah, and you got your trade. Okay, now we're going to see the how good you are at closing this out. Notice your opponent is not thinking. And I want to stress this will be the most common experience for anybody trying to get out of the 1000s and you're playing, especially online. Over the board, it'll be a little different. But here, they're just going to be moving so fast. G4 mistake. What do they need to do? Kind of like in Liam's game, they need bows. You got to bring your people out. You got to bring your people out. Now, this is fine. I would prefer to see, oh, I didn't mean to do that, a rook here. Because when you take, you give this rook a little bit of life. Fine. Good move. I take back my complaint, by the way, that your move was amazing. Okay. By the way, here's a nice shot. Bam! Because we can't capture because of this pin. Now, let me stress something. Your opponent is going super fast, and you do not need to. So one thing to take away from this is that when they are going super fast, for anybody, there's like a psychological thing that happens where you're like, oh God, I got to go fast too. No, you do not. You do not have to go fast. And when you slow down, you're more likely to find a move like knight e5. And actually, if Liam's still listening, what I will say is very important for him this weekend is he's probably going to play some kids. It's going to be like a kids plus adults tournament. And it is not uncommon when you're playing kids for them to like glare at you and be impatient and be whacking the table, freaking out, or maybe they even say, move, because they're not even trying to be gamesmanshipy. They just can't take it. They can't take the tension. That's why they are playing so fast, and then they can't take it when you're sitting there thinking. It's too much. So it's a key skill. Again, what do we need? You need to bring your pieces out bows. Here again, look at, you're playing super fast. Take that. You could at least think about taking that pawn on e5. Now we gave away a pawn. I like that move a lot. And this is what they deserve. They didn't develop that rook forever. Now it's going to go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, those are really good notes. And we can see that I think the first step for you is going to be to slow it down a little bit. That's going to be the very first step. All right, I blew it again. I was supposed to right click and I didn't. Here we go. So, and notice I'm trying to slow down and think more. So, by the way, you shouldn't feel bad about it in the sense that like it's harder to take longer. Maybe a good metaphor is I finally got my first handstand push-up yesterday, and the first step in doing that was just being comfortable being upside down for a long period of time. Getting like the mobility and all that stuff figured out. And it's kind of scary too. But I don't know if it's a great metaphor, but the point is, right, there's a kind of mental ability to relax in deep thought and to push that deep thought. And you shouldn't expect yourself to automatically be able to think for long periods of time. It's a muscle, and what we see is that the problem at the lower cohorts is people moving too fast, and then at the higher cohorts, if there's a problem, it's people taking too long. That's a totally different thing, but that's already because their minds are ready. They've been trained to think for a longer period of time. What's next? Avocado toast, boss. I'm sorry. All right, next up we have M. Murph, who has also graduated several times. After a short break from chess, I refocused on consistent, rapid blunder games, tactics, and playing OTB when I can. The consistent and more frequent OTB has made a big impact on my play and thought process. Great. M. Murph also doing a lot of work. Look at that. Oh, look at that graph. Bows. Now, this might have been when they took a break. They were still playing, but maybe not so intense, and now they've pushed it up to the next level. Great. And Nose says, let it be known that 2 of my students have graduated this week, M. Murph and Penrose. Nice. That is a good job. And M. Murph, dude, 240. That's really good. All right, let's take a look. Activity. We'll back it up 101 hours, my friends. Look at that. Mostly games and tactics. Let's click around a little bit. Yeah, we got a touch of mate in 2s, some mates in 1, and everyone's first chess workbook. Nice. That'll be Liam's next step, everyone's first chess workbook. Then we got non-dojo. Okay. Now, the blunder game isn't non-dojo, though. Blunder game is definitely part of the dojo. Clubs? Oh, man, we got all kinds of clubs. U.S. Evening Dojo. I didn't even know that one existed. All right, we got some games. And let's click this one. First G60 game of the day. Okay, this looks like an OTB in Dublin. In Dublin, nice, okay. Makes sense that someone from Dublin has the name of Murph. Good. Good. Everything GM level so far. Bishop f5. Fine. I guess I would like to see bishop g4 more. And the reason is that he could have harassed you some with like a knight d4 here. Or a knight e5 here. But you're doing fine. Good. Now I just want to stress, that development that we just saw there, perfect. Nothing to sneeze at. Every move had a point. You're completely solid. You brought your bishop outside the pawn chain, then played e6, and I like your position. Okay. Bishop g5, h6, good move, and then boom. I will say about this that this is a typical mistake that you will see, and sometimes, by the way, it can be dangerous. Here it's not. But this kind of mistake, I feel, is a passage for every chess player, like dealing with this bishop h6 and the fear of bishop h6. Sometimes it's appropriate to fear it. A really simple way of trying to think about, oh, is this dangerous or not, is just to look at the force count. So if we think about this position with gh6, where you are terrified, you say, I didn't want to take here as it severely weakens my king. And here's an interesting note. He says, boom, boom, and he says, white's better. No, white is toast. And knight h7 is a good move, by the way. Now, what are we talking about with force count? Well, you've got a bishop and a knight, very nice defenders, and you've got a queen coming to the party very soon. And what does that mean? It means you're up a bunch of coconuts. It means you're up a bunch of coconuts. And there's no real threat that the guy can even do to you. Okay, so this is a key one to understand. This is a really good annotation, though, because it shows what you were afraid of. And we can imagine, if we just do a thought experiment, actually, let's just do a thought experiment, and imagine these two bad boys are gone, and then it's white's move, and he gets to play knight g5, well, then, yes, we're scared. We don't want any part of that. But your defensive resources here are amazing. You got a lot. Yeah. So, here we go, knight g4. So white has effectively stolen a pawn from us. f6, bishop f4, and you don't like a6? Well, I don't know, it's not so bad. And, right, you can't do e5 because this coconut will fall with check. So, boom, 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 boom. Bang! Oh, dang, Mose. Oh, welcome to the dojo. Oh, buddy. I need some, wait a second. Hold on. Let me bring him back. Can I make him play here?
There can be only one.
Oh, I can't make my Highlander play. I don't know. Sometimes he plays and sometimes he doesn't. I never know when it's going to work. Oh, play him, dude. Come on. Boom. Okay. Oh, he's not playing.
Only one.
He's not playing.
There can be only one.
I can't get my Highlander to work. That's a really bummer. That's the boomer at play there. That's the boomer at play. Okay. So, let's go back. Great shot. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And, if you find that and the below 1,000 level, clearly you are on your way. Boom. A little bit of, okay, it looks like the times aren't, okay, I think what happened here is Murph just did his times, not his opponent's times. Okay, so knight d4. Pop! Check to the miserable king. King h1. Nice. And now bishop d3. And we just want to ask if there's anything more violent than bishop d3. Bishop takes, pawn takes, right? And now we need to move our knight. Looks good to me. Dang, Bows. Dang. He's bringing it, Bows. Bringing it. Oh, yeah, this is great. Let's keep it going, son. Oh, look at the way this goes down. Queen e3. Check to the miserable king. There we go, buddy. Give it all to me. Give it all. Opening the H file for my rooks. Okay. Check to the miserable king. Dude, you're slaying this dude. Slaying. Oh, no. No, I'm sorry, buddy. Dude, that was amazing, man. That was really good. And that was an OTB game. So it's a game 60 with a little bit of delay. And this is very encouraging, okay? Because you had great development and you had one kind of, let's call it a misevaluation, but you know about that now, so you get a free lesson. And you found this great shot with knight d4. And not only that, but then after knight d4, like you punished him. Now, let me just say what I like about the punishment. My standard path for people to get to 1000 is to win some stuff and then trade everything off. And then mate him with a queen at the end, which is kind of what happened at the end. But what I liked about the way you did it was you're just like, no, boss, we're just going to keep playing for mate. We're not just trading stuff off. I'm finishing this dude. And that's next level. Yeah. So that was great, man. That was great. Oh, they're getting stronger, Bows. They're getting stronger, buddy. Dang. And MRF is doing the business with the annotated games, too. Super great. All right. Well, MRF's clearly going to make it. MRF is going to make it. Already graduating multiple times. Okay. So here we go. We got Adam, who is also known as Sunship Train, and says, I like that many different aspects of the game are covered. I appreciate your taking our lives and time into account with challenges you set up. I'd appreciate a schedule that I can follow so I can build the habit on my own. Thanks. We got things, man. We got things. Part of the problem is like, oh, everybody's so busy and it's hard to hang out. It's hard to find meetings. Like Kostya, dude, he's doing commentary in St. Louis now. So it's like, we got all these things to do, Bows. But yeah, we have more ideas than we have time. But definitely this schedule thing is on the way. All right. So, Adam. Dojo 1.0, nice. And Adam made it. Look at that beautiful graph. A little bit. This is what an adult's improvement looks a little bit more like. You know, you plateau off for a little while, you know, and then bam, you have some success. Okay, let's take a look. Activity. We'll boil it down for 43 hours. Very well done. And let's click on the tactics. Some mates in 2. Nice. Okay. Learn chess the right way 3. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to agree actually on, we have agreed that we are going to add more volume to the tactics in the under 1000. We have agreed that we are going to raise the Puzzle Rush scores. We haven't agreed what that volume should be. And the big There was actually a comment. I asked for feedback and on the Discord, a thread, and then there was a comment being like, Baus, you should know the answer. Why are you asking us? And in a sense, we should. But to give you an example, like in terms of volume, there's several ways of doing it. For example, there are all these different sites out there. Chess Tempo, ChessCom, Lichess. If you use ChessCom, people will be upset because then Lichess is like, we wanted Lichess. Then you go to Lichess and then their problems, as far as I can tell, are all messed up. Their puzzle streak or whatever it is a terror. Then you got people on Chess Tempo who are like, dude, this is the real site. And then my 86-year-old is like, I can't do it. I'm on Chessimo. I'm used to Chessimo. And I don't even know anything about Chessimo, right? And then, then we got like, obviously there's books that can be brought in too. And then we got people shouting at us, chess steps, you got to do chess steps. Then there's some other ones, And so it's almost like in some ways you could describe it as political. It's also a thing about access, like the ChessCom problem. And some people like books, some people like the online stuff, so it's really, it's hard to make these calls. And it's not just about like what we think is the best. It has to be accessible. Later on in the program, there's books that we can't use because they're out of print or hard to get. Okay. M. Premrose says, I've done thousands more tactics than required for my cohort and felt like they were necessary. Okay. All right, so where are we? This is Adam Sunship Train after my rant here. SF Bay Area, okay. And now he's at 900, 1,000. Let's just go click on what the new training plan looks like for him. It's a little bit my benefit, just to remind myself. Look at that. He's already going through the mates. I assume he's already crushed this and has already done learn chess the right way. Right. So. And when you look at this, actually, and consider that he's already done this, learn chess the right way, we can easily imagine that this is not enough tactics for him to get to 1,000. And again, my appreciation of getting to 1,000, it's not hanging stuff. And that's just repetition, just seeing where is the hanging piece, where's the fork, and not hard stuff, easy stuff, right? Okay, so let's go games. We got a lot, dude. Okay, this is good. And we got to look at Je ne suis pas Dave. We got to. Barnstorms aren't here, but Je ne suis pas Dave, let's bring him in here because he has been one of the people who've really had trouble, and still to a certain degree has trouble, hanging stuff, but has done a lot of work and gotten significantly better at it. So here we go. So far, no complaints. Okay, so people are terrified of this pin. I get it. One chess quote that took me forever to understand was, the threat is often greater than the execution. Right? So H3, by the way, I'm not going to yell at you too much. I get the fear, but notice that especially if you can put your knight here, this isn't doing anything to you. So your candidate moves would be here, here, or here. And you could say to me, Kraai, what do you mean C3 is also not a developing move? Well, it kills the knight, so it's not that bad. All right, I'm gonna let it go. H3, Queen E7 looks incorrect because now Knight C3, good move. Bishop E6, and now we got a question. Here now Bishop D5, I don't like it. We're moving a developed piece twice. Now, the other way to move a developed piece twice, and the big question is, what about this move? And maybe it's not so special. Maybe it's not so special. Yeah, maybe black is fine after, say, knight A5. Okay, so maybe black is still okay. Notice black has not made any mistakes in terms of losing time. It worries me a little bit, this knight d5, but I think just on virtue of the fact that they've developed so nicely, should be no problems. And this is Je ne suis pas Dave, dude. He has got some religion around piece development. So, loss of a tempo, queen d7, loss of a tempo. So, at this point, we need to ask, well, how should black have played? And h6, I think, is the right question. Now, here's an interesting one. Remember we were talking about in the last one, we were talking about bishop h6 and that whole thing? Well, a different kind of terror is this one, because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. In this position, I think it's good, but it is scary here. I repeat, it is scary, because you got to wonder, is this pin a death pin? It certainly looks scary. Some good news, though, is this guy is pinned, so there's not an immediate f4. And we would continue here and then try to break the pin. It's still pretty hot, it's got to be said. It's still pretty hot in terms of what's going on. But I think that is objectively going to be the best move, and probably from White's perspective, maybe even objectively best to take it, because if we go back, we not only have we lost time, but then notice this bishop is actually kind of a chump, right? Okay, so loss of time, and now bishop takes e6 really helps black, because notice what happens. You just developed his rook. fe6, good move. Yeah, and you notice that he's activating the rook. A much simpler way to play this, and I think would be very hard to meet for black, would be snippos, hoppos, and croppos. And there's grief. There's grief here, because the lady's going to come to the party, and then at some point we're going to lay this bomb down here, and we have a nice initiative. We have a nice initiative. So snip, good move, Je ne suis pas Dave. Notice that fe6 also kills the knight. a3, loss of time. a6, mostly a loss of time. b4, okay. b5. So this is controversial because you are activating the rook. So black should just take it. Good move. Loss of time. And now knight f3 is played. Boom. Boom, boom, good move. I mean, let's just say Je ne suis pas Dave is playing some good moves, dude. Look at this. This was a beautiful move. I knew that I could get away with a discovered attack on the queen, but didn't see that the knight would be hanging. Yeah. Je ne suis pas Dave should have won this game. What happened, Je ne suis pas? Bam. And now White discovers that knight e2 is happening. Okay. Oh, man. And Je ne suis pas Dave isn't taking his time, dude. Look at that. Look at that. He's got 35 and he played this one instantly. Oh, no. Oh, no, Dave. The bad habits are hard to kill. They are hard to kill. Let's look at our time graph. And yeah, dude, Dave was crushing, and then he used 0 time beginning on move 27, and then used so much time at the end that he's even got more time. Oh, man. Well, the good news for Dave is, okay, that he played mostly good moves to get here, and if he can just slow down, then it is no problemo anymore till the end of time. There's a variety of simple moves we can make here, the simplest being here and snip. Not only will we win the pawn, but more importantly, we will activate our coconuts. Okay, here we go, knight e2. Oh, it breaks my heart. Now, to be fair, he did win the coconut on A1, and I guess he did it. Actually, let's just be fair to Dave. It's not like he blundered knight E2. He was just like, I want to get rid of the rook. So he did it. I guess we're going to say he did it on purpose. It's not like he just missed it. People are moving around in strange ways. Oh, and I could breathe again. After my words, my opponent said it was a simple miscalculation. So obviously this graduation is really about sonship training. But let's say a couple of things about Je ne suis pas Dave for a second. From here, Dave is in complete control. He's up material and he loses the thread. So first of all, two pieces are stronger than a rook. And these two pieces are especially stronger than any chump rook ever, because they're blockading the pawns. They can't be messed with. He's covering all this stuff. What a powerful knight. And then here now, what happens, my sense of it anyway, is that Dave doesn't know what to do, right? So here, doesn't really, not necessarily doing anything. Not necessarily really doing anything. This move, it's not easy for white, by the way, but the reason why in general black should welcome this is we're opening up all our stuff. We want to open lines for the rooks. So that doesn't do it. And now he's obsessed with the F2 square and needs to reorganize this rook now. And then instead, we do this. And now we're going to check if Adam put Dave away. I don't understand G4. Okay. Check to the invisible king. Okay. Good. Good move. Now, Dave, you got to try to protect the pawn and see if white can figure it out. They might be able to figure it out, but notice it's there's still some questions here, right? But once they take on E5, it's a lot easier. We're hanging all of our stuff. This is unfortunately the old. This is the old Je ne suis pas Dave. Rook A3 is a nice move. Okay, now we got a nice closeout. Well done. Just in general, put your pawns on the opposite color of the bishop so that they can control the light and you control the dark. But of course, you're winning this no matter what. Good, like that. And then you could play bishop f6, but of course this is winning no matter how you slice it. Dave was clearly infuriated here because he was like, Baus, I'm going to play on till the end. There we go. First classical, Dojo classically won. It was very tight, and the rook blunder brought it back to white's advantage. I think I managed my time pretty well. And Je ne suis pas Dave, dude. Dave! He had a call. Someone was calling him on the phone. There was little ding-dings going on his computer, and he was like, I can't take it anymore. So one thing I just want to stress about like somebody's quest like Dave's and the under 1,000 quest, this might be a good way to end the show, is old habits will die hard, and it really is a couple things that have to be mastered. We have all the tasks and everything, but the simple truth of it is this. You bring your people out, you take your time. That's it. And we can see in all these games, that's what is the deciding factor. People out, time, right? And you people, they will hang their pieces, and they're definitely going to give you time. And the most important thing, right, is to be very sensitive to the hanging of stuff. And you can do that by taking your time. Okay, so my good friends, that was a great stream. I will be back tomorrow. And actually, let's give a quick look at who we got coming up tomorrow. So, Miguel, Colton, Spiders Latan. Nice. All these people, look at this. Oh, it's a big show tomorrow. And of course, there'll be more people. Now, one thing that we're going to do, probably definitely beginning next week, is Jack's going to set it. So we have previously like the graduation happening on 3/14, which is Thursdays. But next week, it'll be set for Wednesday. That way, we'll have both, the graduations of the under 1,000 and the over 1,000 happening at the same time. I'll just cover them on different days. Okay, let's raid somebody, my friends. Who are we going to raid? Let's raid friend of the dojo, Lafong. He is a blitz. He's a bullet. Wow. He's even got a bullet move named after him. That's how bullety this guy is. All right, my friends, we'll be back tomorrow. Dojo looking good. Me, Kostya, and David have to get on it dude, there's so many things to talk about.